What's up, man? It's 2 a.m. right now, 1:53. I'm just here to feel me. I was trying to get the mic to work on my thing, but I couldn't get the mic to work. But I'm just here to drop some knowledge, man. Listen, if you're seeing this, man, you want to be a part of that 1%. You want to be a part of that 1%. I'm not here to sell you something. I'm not here to pitch you on anything. I'm just here to tell you, like, you could do it. You could really do it. And, I've been in your guys' shoes of not knowing and not knowing what to do, not knowing if it was going to work. I've been there, with whatever it is. If you want to trade, if you want to start a business, if you want to resell, whatever you want to do, if you just want to be successful, I understand. It takes a lot of willpower, a lot of grind, a lot of grit. And, I'm just here to tell y'all to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. You get knocked down, get back up, keep going. You get knocked down again, keep going. You put in money to something and you lose it. Put in some more money, lose again. The best thing you can do is fail. Failure isn't even really failing. If you fail and you quit, that's failure. If you quit, then that's failure. But if you fail and you get up and you try again, then you didn't really fail because you just got stopped. If you're in a car and you're driving and you reach a red light, it's not the end of your journey just because you hit the red light. The light is going to turn green again. So you got to come with that same mentality in life. Like, sometimes you're going to hit red lights. Sometimes you're going to get stuck in traffic. Sometimes you might even get into an accident. But at the end of the day, you're going to keep going. You're going to get back on the road. You're going to keep driving again. Sometimes you might get off the highway, get off at an exit. Stop, get off your path, I think that symbolizes as if you're locked in, you're grinding, let's say in the gym, you're focused, you're eating good and everything, and then you get off the highway, you start slacking, you start skipping cardio, you start missing days at the gym, you say, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow, and tomorrow turns into another tomorrow turns into another tomorrow, and then, you realize you're not locked in, you realize you got off, now you got to get back on the highway, you get back locked in. So, don't be afraid to fail. Don't feel discouraged. That's one of the things, like, you got to understand you're going to fail. And to me, I think that's the best teacher. I advise people, that ask me for help or advice. I tell them, like, fail, do it. Don't be afraid to do it. Just fail, because that is the best teacher. I think, excuse me, I think in school, it's bad because we, as a society, especially, I only live in America. So in America, we idolize passing. We idolize getting good grades. We idolize those things. When in reality, and then we diminish people for failing. We get mad at people for failing. We get mad at people for not being able to pass a test, for not being able to get good grades. When sometimes people, like me included in school, I didn't go to class, I didn't do my work. So I didn't fail because I couldn't do it or I tried and I just wasn't good at the moment. I failed because I didn't try. That's why I failed. Same thing with life. If you don't try, you're going to fail. You're going to fail no matter what if you don't try. But if you try, you might fail, but then you get a tutor. You practice, you do it again and again and again, and eventually, if you keep trying and trying and trying, you will succeed. And I think that it's a problem with, as far as school, because you drill that fact into a kid's mind of, like, if you don't pass this, then you're a failure. You're not good. You're not smart enough. When that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. I know plenty of people that didn't do well in school and they're very successful in life because they understood that wasn't the reality of how the world works. Failure is a good thing. Don't ever let somebody tell you that failure isn't a good thing. And, I'm not trying to talk to, like, the kids in the school with the parents saying, like, you need to stop failing your class. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the kids that are, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm 21, so I'm not going to say anybody older than me, but, that are that age and, you're struggling in life, not speaking about school, in life. You have to, if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to fail. And you have to be okay with failure. Don't If you do something, like let's say you start a business, let's say you're doing a sales business, right, so to speak. You're doing a sales business and you reach out to 500 people, no responses. You feel like, and it's been a month, you feel like you're not making any progress. You feel like what you're doing isn't working. You've tried different email scripts, still not working, right? The point is like, that I'm trying to make is that can all happen and it doesn't mean you're failing. Like, yes, what you're doing right now, it is in essence failing. But if you keep going, if you keep trying and trying, if you email 500 more people, you don't know what's going to happen, because nobody can predict the future and nobody can change the past. I think that's a problem also. I'm going to be rambling a lot in this video, but it's more so me just trying to talk and trying to communicate what I'm feeling, right? So people try to change the past and try to control the future too much. And the movie Kung Fu Panda, my favorite character in Kung Fu Panda is Master Oogway. And one of my favorite things he says is, the past is history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is a gift. That is why it's called the present. You can't change what happened. I can't change what I said 2 minutes ago in this video. There's nothing that I can do about that. I can't change what time I woke up this morning. I can't change what I ate. I can't change what I did today. I can't change what I did 2 years ago. I can't change what happened. And there's nothing that I can do to change it. The world moves on. Jesus Christ was put on a cross and the world didn't stop spinning for him. So it's definitely not going to stop spinning for you. So you need to stop stressing about the past. Stop stressing about something that you cannot change. And it goes the same thing for the future. Yes, I do think it's important to think about your future. I'm not saying completely dismiss your future and don't think about, goals for 3 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or planning ahead. I'm not saying that, but my point is don't completely stress and completely focus on the future, because you need to live in the now. If you don't focus on the now, you have no future. Yes, I do think it's good to have a set plan, but if you don't act on that plan in the present, you're just talking. Those are what we call daydreamers. You're a dreamer, but you're not a dreamer, because it's good to be a dreamer. But a dreamer that takes action is very different than a regular dreamer. If you want to go to a professional sports league, if you want to go to the NBA like I did, I wanted to go to the NBA. If I just talk about how I want to go to the NBA, I'm not making any progress. If I just completely rely on the fact that I'm 6'4", and that I can do something better than everybody else, eventually it will slow down, because other people work. They put in time and effort to their craft. They put in time, effort, sacrifice into their craft. And eventually, if you don't do that, you will fail. You will 100% fail, no matter who you are. No matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. You will eventually fail. There is no great athlete that did not put in hard work that was successful throughout their whole life. Yes, there are some athletes that were successful in high school and college just relying on their athletic ability and what they were good at, their God-given talent. But if they didn't work hard, they didn't make it in the NBA. And I believe that it's the same idea for business. Like, if you can't shoot three-pointers, and this is an example that I use a lot from my friends that I try to help trade, right? If you're not a good three-point shooter versus somebody that is a good three-point shooter, the person that isn't a good three-point shooter has to practice shooting threes. They have to. This person should too. But let's say they don't, right? And this person does. The person that's bad at shooting three-pointers does practice. In 2 years' time, the person that is shooting 1,000 threes a day versus the person who doesn't practice shooting threes, this person will be miles above them. I don't care what you say. I do not care what you say. They will be miles above them at shooting the ball. Same thing goes for business. I'm going to use trading as an example because it's my favorite example for trading. If you put in the time to backtest and put in the time to practice trading and learn versus somebody who's just good with numbers and understands how the market moves throughout their life, you will eventually be better than them. Why? Because you put in time, you put in effort, you put in practice. And I think that's also a problem in today's world is nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work for it. Everybody wants a handout. And I'm not saying that, y'all, and I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm not here to critique anybody because that's not me. But you have to be willing to work. You have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be okay with failing. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And, it's going to suck. And life is going to be hard. And life is hard no matter what. No matter who you are, you're going to face some challenges in life. But would you rather have your life be hard because you're fat, lazy, out of shape, and broke? Or would you rather your life be hard because you work so hard and because you're in the gym and you're rich and ripped and, you know what I'm saying, and you're getting to it? You got to choose your heart, So I don't want to stay on here and just ramble too much longer, but the whole point of this is like, I just want y'all to know that no matter who you are, you can do it. You know, you have the ability to do it. I used to think that I could not do it. And I told my friends after I started becoming a little bit of success, having a little bit of success, you know, there's no difference between me and you. The only difference is our first, last name and our genetic makeup. But we're both human. And there's no other differences. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If Bill Gates can do it, you can do it. If Elon Musk can do it, you can do it. They're all humans. You can do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. You know, don't let anybody kill that dream that you have. Work towards it. And if you put in the work, God will reward you. He will reward you. If you put in the work, if you meet him halfway, he will reward you. And it's just a simple fact. It's just a simple fact. If you put in the time and you put in the effort, you will be successful. I don't care what anybody says. It might not happen in a month. It might not happen in 6. It might not happen in a year. It might not happen in 5 years. But eventually it will happen. And that one win that you have will cancel out all the years that you had of losses and stress and worry. Why? Because that one win changes everything. And also going back to the whole don't live in the past thing. If you don't live in the past and you have that one win, you're not even worried about all the years of sacrifice, because that one win is what you're focused on in the present. That's why you focus on the now, on the present, right? But, you know, you're different. Embrace it. Embrace that shit. Don't let somebody tell you that your mindset is bad. Don't let somebody like belittle you for that, because that's not right. And you can do it. You're different. Embrace that shit, man. Embrace it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, all right? Come on, man. Don't let anybody tell you different.